Get this fucking market started. Focus.
Ring,
It's
ring.
a big day.
No jokes allowed.
There's an update.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, simps
And Rodrigo.
and virgins. Oh my, just be on my face again. I blame you, Rodrigo. Welcome back to Krown's magical Jigglypuff Cave.
Oh, Jigglypuff Cave. Oh, are we going to do some singing today? Some gold sweet singing action from the Finnish fairies in the fucking forest over there? Anyways, we have plenty to be talking about today. Not really, actually, although there is a few new things to be speaking about and a few new things that I actually do want to present on a video stream like today, especially when people are kind of tuning in during these more slow times, or what I imagine are probably more slow times for most people out there who are just looking for, you know, the big bad move, right? That's what get everyone excited. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin in a range, well, it's been the same trade for about a month and a week now, which is sell 52, buy 46. Although 46 being tapped into this many times doesn't really give me too much more confidence that it continues to give the ever easy trade that we've been having over the past month. In fact, I've actually removed my own bids from the lower levels of this, and I will be talking about kind of what I'm expecting to do over these next few days here, leading into the end of the week. Now, before we get into that, a couple of very big announcements, and I want to make sure that I get this done right, so I need to reference my notes over here, of which we have a humongous update coming into the app today. Actually, right after this stream, maybe even like a little bit after I get done with the opening morning ceremonies here. I don't know if Morinfall is listening right now, but Morinfall is very likely at his desk and is going to press the button which is going to update the whole app. The reason why I am going to, or the reason why I want to let you know this is because, of course, well, you should have full information. Then also, and more importantly, the app will be down for about 3 to 4 hours, most likely. Could be as much as 5 to 6 hours, however. So please do allow us a little bit of time. We're aiming for about 7 a.m. UTC. That is 7 a.m. UTC. They'll hit the button, the magical button, and then everything's going to update. Take some time, like I did just say, and please don't worry. It's all planned. I'll make a post in the Discord as well, so that everyone has full information, everyone knows, and doesn't freak out, hopefully. And then you're going to be blessed with the new update, of which there are a lot of new things coming in alongside of that. Amongst those things is going to be a free version of the Jewel called the Jewel Lite. It'll be free for the first month. I'm actually going to post a video on it a little bit later today on how to actually use it, and then we'll get into it from there. I also want to make a quick announcement as well on Instagram. This keeps on fucking happening. There's apparently a million impersonators of myself on Instagram. Look, I am not going to DM anyone, especially not to trade their account or get them to download some sort of malicious software or whatever. Look, it ain't fucking me. Please do not do whatever the hell these people are asking to do, as it's probably not going to end too well, unless you really want to send nudes. That's all good, and of course probably welcomed as well. And of course, if you are interested in my actual Instagram, which you probably aren't because I lead a pretty damn boring life actually, then you can look in the link description below, and you might even see an Elsa face pic as well. And there you go. So sweet. All right, so let me just make sure that I got everything right there, all of the big points. Yes, okay, beautiful. But we are greenlit for the stream. Fucking nice, baby. Morinfall, hit the goddamn button. Or maybe actually just give me 5 minutes here, because I do want to reference a few pieces of data on the Krown application, of course, before we get into the new update. And by the way, with the new update, you're going to have hourly data feeds for the market data over here for many of those panes. And then you also have even more customability alongside of it. And then we have a shit ton of metric shit ton of new updates that are going to be bang right after that are going to really enhance the value in this application. So I would strongly suggest checking it out, because, well, it's fucking free, and that's the way it's going to be for right now. Anyways, I do want to reference a couple pieces of data in here before we get into it. First and foremost, we did see that the fear and greed index came all the way down below the 25, which is the extreme fearful reads, which, by the way, how do I know that? Because I had an alert over here, which, by the way, you can actually set alerts for pretty much every piece of data on this application, and it's for free as well, which I don't believe that you can do via TradingView, or you definitely can't do it for the fear and greed index on TradingView, but that's how I was kind of notified to wake up this morning. Really good fucking wake up call, huh? But it will play into the analysis a little bit later, and I do have a few new things alongside that to be presenting, but just keep this in mind that yes, we are within the extreme fearful zone, and you can see that this is really starting to shape up very similarly to what we saw over on the summer lows at about the $30,000 territory. And I will say it bluntly yet again, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to have any daily closures below $37,000, or at least statistically speaking, it is very unlikely. And I would go as far as saying that I do think that there's going to be some pretty damn good long-term setups, and especially anytime that you see Bitcoin kind of consolidating on the lows after a major dump-ola, when fear and greed index specifically is in the fearful zone, and in this case, the extreme fearful zone, we're probably looking closer to a low than not. The question, at least in my mind's eye, is $46,000 a low, or do we come a little bit lower, a few $1,000s lower, scare the ever-loving shit out of everyone into like the lower $40,000 territory, and then setting a low there? I'm actually a little bit more of that secondary opinion, but we're going to go over kind of what to be looking for soon enough here. And before that, I do want to once again address the first pain over here with the global leverage ratio and of course the open interest. I know that I've been sounding a bit like a broken record on this, but it does deserve repetition, and that really is the crux of trading and analysis in general. A lot of the time it will be quote unquote boring, but ultimately, that is where you can really start to hone in on what actually matters. And with that in mind, the leverage ratio has never been higher. It literally was at all-time highs yesterday and the day before and the day before that and the day before that, and it is once again at new all-time highs at almost 0.225%, meaning that this market is severely over-leveraged compared to the past. Now, of course, we do expect this number to naturally go up. There's a couple of fundamental things that would play into this, of course, seeing that is as it is the beginning of the year, we have new flows coming into the market, obviously, and a lot of that is going to be allocated to the Bitcoin spot, or sorry, not Bitcoin spot ETF, but Bitcoin futures ETF and just CME futures as well, both of which are naturally going to be leveraged, so you can't expect that to go up. And well, it is obviously concerning right here, and all of these iterations where we have seen it, relatively high, anywhere above 0.17%, which we're significantly higher than that right now, have resulted in downside moves, all of them except for the summer bull, or sorry, not bull, but bear trap in this case. But I do think that needs to be measured up, of course, with the global open interest over here as well. And when you do look at that summer bear trap, you can see that the open interest was actually, quite low, respectively speaking. So what I'd really like to see is open interest actually come back down somewhere around the low $12 billion marker, correlating with maybe one more wick down into the low $40,000 territory. A quick bounce from there would be really confidence inducing, alongside what we see over here on the fear and greed index, for me at least being looking for a nice move to the upside after that, at least a mean reversion play probably into the mid $50,000 territory, and then of course things other forces take over after that. So what I want to do now is I want to welcome all 1,000 people in here. Holy shit, man. It's still sticking with it even during these times. Again, I imagine that this is massively boring for most people out there, but fair enough. This is actually really where a lot of the major opportunities are actually made, simply for the reason because, a lot of the actual major bases and major tops, although specifically the major bases do come when there's, a lot less people kind of paying attention to the market. That's where, the big actual macro pivots are essentially being had. And we also got 350 likes in this with fucking 50. Holy shit. I ain't never seen no tree fitty on those likes and right at the beginning of the stream. That's amazing, man. Thank you for that. And I want to say welcome to all of our lovely moderators as well. I think I see Nikki Page in here. I see Dodgymon. What's up, man? Good morning to you and happy Wednesday as well. Rocky G, good morning to you as well. I see Jack Assman. There he is, Mr. Mournfall. There he fucking is, man. All right, beautiful. So Mournfall is going to hit the button, I believe. And Jigglypuff is in the house as well. Beautiful. And I think we should get on with it right here, right now, and see what we got going on and see what we kind of, figure out in the good old charts. And there he is, Bear Nutrition, my nutritionist, actually. He's amazing, man. He's actually gotten me into probably the best shape of my life. And major shout out to you, sir. I always want to give you full credit for that because, full credit wait, what? Oh, and Elsa says that he also fixed her as well. Actually, he really did help her with a nutritional issue, which was massively actually life changing for her. Anyways, check out his website. Actually, bear the thought. I believe it's bearthethought.com. Let me just double check. I always want to make sure that I get this. Yes, it is bearthethought.com. He's amazing, as is my actual physical trainer, but I don't think that he's here right now, Mr. Mackin. He's amazing too. All right, cool. So let's get into it right here. I'm going to record this video, and here we have Bitcoin on the weekly for CME. And whilst Bitcoin is currently hanging on to the lows and does look like it could very easily dump out and test somewhere around about $44,000, I am starting to really look at this area as a bit of a trappy situation for the bears. In this case, what would actually confirm a bear trap? Well, first and foremost, you can't really trap a bear in a downtrend, obviously, but if Bitcoin does especially pop back up above the range highs at $52,000, I'm still looking at that as confirmation of a macro bear. I wouldn't say it's a macro bear trap. I mean, it's just a macro higher low is what it is, but a daily bear trap with targets back up towards the $58,000 to $59,000 region. However, in betwixt there, do I think that we could see another move to the downside? Yes, absolutely. In this case, I do think that the weekly 55 is still an area to be aware of on both spot and CME, which is coming in just under $44,000. I would not be surprised at all whatsoever to see something like like this very quickly, have a nice little, hey, stop, damn, LARP lines are at it again. There we go. Apologies on that, although my prior LARP line was working. But in this case, I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick little move down there and then bust on through back onto the upside. Your first initial confirmation of a potential bear trap in the making is going to very easily be back above $48,000 on even a 4-hour closure, actually, and specifically a 4-hour closure. No lower time frame than that, and it's actually 48,100 to be exact. That would be your first sort of major indication that, hey, Bitcoin is likely going to play this out and at minimum retest somewhere around $50,000, close to the range highs, but not necessarily the exact range highs. So ultimately, the reason why this is important and the reason why $52,000 continues to come up and remains like supreme, at least in my mind, is that if Bitcoin does pop back above that region, it will start to confirm this as a weekly low. If this is a weekly low, this is a weekly higher low in comparison to our $40,000 lows in September. And you will notice, if I can actually bring up my panes over here, that we will obviously have some hidden bullish divergence coming off this as well on both the weekly, on CME, and of course spot price action as well. Yes, we did already kind of have a very weak drive confirmed. It was a couple weeks ago in middle of December. That was not much more than anything than a weak drive. Of course, we did get a nice move to the upside, about a $6,000 move, but that's not what we're looking for. And this is why $52,000 remains of the utmost importance right here. But I do want to address a few things and actually give you a bit of an insight into the weekly jewel over here, which is coming into an area that is, should be theoretically a bit of a bouncy area. This is kind of Fibonacci support at the 38.2 level, and you can see that it's caught a few reversals within this region. Namely, the most recent one, which I think deserves a lot of credit right here, is obviously going to be the summer reversal on that bear trap coming off the $30,000 level right there on, by the way, the green 55 exponential average on the weekly, before going up basically to $69,000 with one stop along the way at 53. And of course, the time before that we saw it come within that region and bounce kind of from it was way back on over here. In fact, very, very similar to the one that we have going on right now. That was April of 2020. Might I remind you what happened in April of 2020? Bitcoin, again, bounced off the 55 exponential average right here. I'm just referencing the green 55 right there, and did and obviously retested into it beautifully. And of course, that was right after your flu dump, leading into the next major macro move from basically 8,500 all the way up to 65,000. So a rather powerful and important move right there. Again, it all hinges upon the fact of $52,000. But first things first, can Bitcoin come back down and test somewhere around $44,000 lows? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I would even say that that's in some ways rather likely. And this would be fucking classic to first wash out all of the over-leveraged boo laws here, of which we certainly know that there are several of them by looking at this pane. Again, the global leverage ratio has never been higher. If we can actually see it, yep, it's never been higher. And the open interest is relatively high, although not the highest that we've ever seen ever. So that would definitely wash out a lot of the over-leveraged people in this market, of which we certainly have many. And then it would also simultaneously get a lot of the over-aggressive breakout traders into short positions. And then if you saw something, again, quick like this, where you get a quick wick down to about $44,000, bounce back up specifically above $48,000 on a 4-hour closure, that would be a classic bear trap. Targets back up to $50,000, and that obviously puts Bitcoin in a position of power. Still, $52,000 does take the importance here. And then I want to add a couple of confluent factors here, coming at it from a different angle. So, of course, I've spoken about the CME daily stochastic signal a million goddamn times, but I want to talk about another signal over here and kind of pull this into a full picture, of which this is going to be the daily force, not CME, but spot in this case. Kind of sounds the same, but ultimately I am seeing a little bit of a clear indication over here, of which we do see two major things going on. First and foremost, the daily stochastic is, well, in the critical zone, obviously, for the bearish control zone, of course. And then this is going to be simultaneously aligned with extremely low volatility reads right here, as this moving piece is basically just it's an HVP, actually, is what it is, historical volatility percentile. Anyways, and it's very, very similar to BBWP. I find the BBWP a little bit better, but in this case, having a couple different angles to kind of look at it from, it's not going to hurt, obviously, although they should usually be about on the same side. The reason why I'm marking this off is because it is theoretically, you do expect your consolidations and a lot of the time your reversals coming on incredibly low volatility alongside momentum also is turning up at the same time, and then trend follows through after that. So trend will be the last one to confirm, obviously, on the daily. Of course, weekly is still within the context of an uptrend, as long as you're above about $41,000 on a closing basis. But in this case right here, again, you have very low volatility, very low daily stochastic momentum. And the last time that we saw some relatively similar to this, in fact very similar to this, where we saw pretty much the exact same levels, in fact, was July. Guess what July was? July was, of course, your bear trap coming off of the $30,000 level, leading into that next move up to pretty much our all-time highs with, again, one major stop along the way. I want to once again bring that to fruition with what we see over here on the third data tab with the fear and greed index, which is now once again in the extremely fearful zone. And by the way, what does this look like over here? This kind of fractal of a, of a sentiment signal, very, very similar to what we saw over here. What was this area over here? Those were your summer lows yet again as well. So we have sentiment plus momentum plus volatility, and then just need trying to kind of follow through on the daily, most importantly. And then we do have a few other examples other than that. I mean, you can probably guess what the next one's going to be around. It's actually going to be right around here. Again, we saw not exact in this case, but very low volatility. Momentum starts to turn up around the same time. That was coming out of your last major base after the September 2020 dump, where Bitcoin did hold the lows and just zoomed all the way upwards and always from there. Yes, it did take some time, but hey, that's, the name of the game, of course. And then, of course, what was the last time we saw before that, where Bitcoin did have, very low volatility reads correlated with daily stochastic momentum within that region? That was coming in from way back on over here in December 2019. Now this was a beautiful low right here leading into the old flu dump, which you might say was a bit of a black swan. Did produce about a 60% move. You can come at this from a couple different ways. You could say, hey, this is a failed signal, although still a 60% move right there is like rather significant, I would say. But it was a black swan situation, obviously. Or I think that you could make that argument. I know that some people would push back on that statement. Fair enough. There is some validity to that. But just in that case, maybe that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have that situation. Who knows? Obviously can't turn back the dials of time. This one over here actually would not work out. Now that I look at it, that is, I don't know why the fuck I marked that one off. And then of course the one before that was coming out of the 2019 macro cycle lows at 3,100, where Bitcoin reversed on, by the way, that first higher low from the 3,100 low just a couple months prior. And by the way, remember that did come in right around the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Right here, if I actually do this properly, that would be good. And you can see it's coming in actually just right ever so slightly below it, but fair enough, close enough is close enough. If we do the same thing over here, you actually notice that, assuming that we actually do the same thing, there we go. We're actually right at the 618 Fibonacci retracement as well. And still, Bitcoin is technically not closing on lower lows just yet. It's very fucking close to it, very fucking close to breaking the range. But here's the thing, and here's why I'm calling this out, because it could be another sort of preliminary indication that Bitcoin will play out a bit of a bear trap. And you can see right here on the daily stochastic reverse function that it will turn back up above 46,500. Bitcoin is currently trading just $200 below that as of this moment in time. So if you do see that level closed above by 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight, then you will very likely see Bitcoin follow through as well, at least for that first sort of initial reaction. And then it's all eyes on $48,100 for a minimum of 4-hour closure. Above there, things start to look a lot better. I won't go over the daily stochastic momentum signature again, because I think we've beat that horse to death, and it's very similar to what we just spoke about as well right there. And then maybe I go over this. Maybe I just end on this one as well. Let me see. Do I have it right there? Yeah, we need to go to a daily, however. So this one is well, no, I don't think that we're going to go over this. It's actually not, it's not confirming my bias, or at least it's not exactly there just yet. So you know what? We can't really talk about that because it's actually not a signal just yet. And I think that there was one other thing, yes, on the daily over here. So both the daily and the weekly for the Jewel and also the Jewel Lite, of which I'm using the Jewel Lite right now, which anyone can grab on TradingView just by typing in Jewel Lite, and actually post a video a little bit later today on like how to actually use it. And it's going to be free for about a month. And then we're going to just integrate it into the app basically. But ultimately, coming to a region like this, typically going to see a bounce around that region. And then also both the daily and the weekly kind of coming in from that same sort of angle. So if you do start to see this turn white, that's going to be a really, 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 really good signal that at least the downside momentum for right now is subsiding. And we actually do see, or do we see, we actually would see regular bullish evidence on the daily as well right here, and I believe also on CME. Yes, but that is only if Bitcoin can confirm a local low right here on the daily, and to do that would be the same thing as the 4-hour range back above about 48,100. Even on a 4-hour closure would do it for me. And then yes, I would initiate targets back up somewhere around $49,500 to $50,000 territory. That makes Bitcoin look a lot better. And then ultimately, there can be a bit more hopium in this market yet again. So we have sentiment, we have momentum, we have volatility, all painting a somewhat fractalicious picture of what we saw in the past on these major reversals. However, again, until Bitcoin actually takes out these price action levels, the trend is not your friend, or at least not to the upside. It's not on the daily, and still looking at, maybe one more wick down, somewhere around about $44,000. I won't go over the hash ribbon signal as well, but the hash ribbon signal, just kind of rehash it, and then I can point you back to this, to the past weekend's video, the long-term analysis video on Sunday that I uploaded. Statistically speaking, I think that is quite unlikely for Bitcoin to close specifically a daily below 37,500. Doesn't mean that we can't test down around there, get wicks down below there, but ultimately, I do think that Bitcoin is still a lot closer here to finding a low than not. Maybe just with one more quick wick down, just fuck the breakout traders, fuck the over leveraged people, and then perhaps run it the other way while no one's watching, while no one's participating, and no one's paying any attention to this market for good reason. I mean, this is the best way to kind of bore most people out of their minds, and well, welcome to the fucking game of analysis and trading. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Bitcoin. I feel like maybe I might be missing one thing on the shorter term timeframes. Yeah, again, shorter term timeframes are weak as fuck here. I do think Bitcoin's going to at minimum retest its current lows, not necessarily 41,000, but perhaps somewhere down around $44,000. And then if you see some sort of trappy-ish behavior around there, that's probably where I start to be a lot more interested in a bit of a potential bear trap trade. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Bitcoin. Sirs and Zers. Beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful. All right. Mornfall has given me the signal. Everything is off. Nobody panic. Okay. I'm not panicking. You're panicking, man. What the fuck? Anyways, yeah, again, so the app's going to be down for a while. Again, just give us up to 6 hours, probably going to be more like three-ish hours, but hey, you never know when it comes to programming. You never know when it goes to updating. You never know when it comes to any of this stuff, so have to be patient with it is what I've learned is best to have. So sweet. I see Christine Marina. I see you over there. I see you. Willist, what's up, man? Greg Antonetti, definitely Italian, very, very exotic name. Mr. Tyler Gongnoff, taking the acid and watching a little bit of stream action as well. Good fucking man, I guess. It's one way to live your life, I suppose. And I expect that we can get into the comments over here. So let me just turn on the alerts yet again. There we go. And let's see who is first. I believe it is Mr. Banksy. It's got to be Mr. Banksy Rules. Please review charts for Rocket X and MCC. Just one at a time, man, would be best. But RV, I'm not sure that we can pull up any one of these charts because I don't think I've ever heard of them before. So let's see if we get lucky. RVF is not on TradingView, so that's a no. That's a no, sir. What about MCC? Is this one on TradingView? I see that we have it versus Ethereum, but maybe versus the dollar. No. Okay, so this is the best that we can do. This is multi-chain capital versus Ethereum. Oh boy, where the fuck are we going on this one, man? All right, so you're saying, hey, man, and appreciate that, man. Sweet. Wow, terrible. Holy shit, man. I'm sorry to do this to you, but this is fucking awful right here. What the actual hell? Are you serious? What the fuck, man? It's down to 3 butyrols. This thing's been wrecked beyond repair. This is I hope that this is not the right chart, man. I hope for your sake that this is just a bad feed, or Uniswap has swapped out the ticker for this or something, man. But this is just fucking god awful, man. Terrible. The other chart, unfortunately, we cannot bring up, so I'm guessing that it's either very, very new or it's maybe a scam. But then again, TradingView hosts all sorts of scam tokens, so it's probably just really, really new, and I should give it the benefit of the doubt, as a lot of the time I am completely my initial reaction is completely proven wrong. In this case, if this is indeed the chart, look, man, you might have some inside information. You might really believe in the fundamentals. That's great. That's a different game. But as far as charts go, it looks like, first off, barely anyone trades this damn thing. And pretty much no one's fucking trading this thing. And second off, well, the only thing that they're doing is selling, man. So Godspeed. It's not great, man. Yeah. I mean, the good thing is that the next 3 butyrol move will definitely be to the upside. The problem is I can't promise you that the next 2 butyrol move might not be to the downside, because that will bring you quite effectively to 1. And the good thing is that after 1, you really can't actually go lower than that, because you actually can't go lower than that. Usually you can go lower. Like a lot of the time, a 50% move is still a 50% move. But when you literally get to just 1 and there's only a bid and offer on 0, bid at 0, bid at 0 and offer at 1. Well, Yeah, well, not too great, man. So hopefully this is not the actual chart of the asset, but this is the closest thing that I can bring up. So unfortunately, that's the best that we can do. What I'd suggest doing is like hitting up Elsa if that is not the Indeed chart that you're looking for, and then we can maybe look at something that's a little bit more appropriate for your pleasures, sirs and zers. I think Mr. Fucking Buy the Dip is next. He says, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, it is H. Kelly. You're right. Coin 98. Oh, dear Lord. What the fuck is this, man? Coin 98. It's a thing. All right. Oh, we're going deep into this shitcoin drawer. This 8 cap. I've never heard of this thing. What the hell? On KuCoin. It's the greatest exchange for your shitcoin needs. Not bad on the reversal right here. You got a higher high. You got a higher low. I'm looking for this one to probably give a try up towards 315 to 320 or so. Actually, not so bad right there. Not a whole hell of a lot of history, so can't really be going off of too much right here. Weekly, certainly not going to work on this one. 4 hour is in trending motion, as is the daily. Short term might have a bit of a pullback down to 269 or 266 region. That's completely fine. I'm bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're closing 4 hour dollars above $2.50 with targets back up towards let's just call it 315 to 320-ish region, and then come back to it after that. Again, not a whole hell of a lot of history here, but for the history that we do have, looks like a nice reversal in progress. Don't really need to be looking at too many momentum oscillators, as they barely have any time to populate, but they are pointed towards more continuation here. So nicely done, ma'am. Very nicely done. All right, now it's fucking Buy the Dip, and where are you, sir? Oh, it is actually Jake Anderson. My apologies, man. Ethereum, Bitcoin. My apologies, man. We'll get to you soon enough, though. I think you're next after that. Jake Anderson is, however, first, and Ethereum, Bitcoin is still looking nice and strong off of our reversal. I'm going to record this one because, well, it ain't bad. Here we have Ethereum. We're going to do both Ethereum versus the Bitcoin parent and Ethereum versus the US dollar parent. And this chart has just been very, very clean, although at some times definitely given a lot of people anxiety, but that's okay, man. We bounced perfectly off of our 7.8 million Satoshi region. That was the major precipice that we were looking for in order to get generally bearish on this asset. Until then, everything is just a bullish pullback, and so far so good. In this case, it did retake its medium-term time frame range highs, initiating that move towards about the 8.2 million Satoshi region, which was our targets from the last video that we did, I believe, on Monday. And does this one essentially continue from here or pull back? Well, short-term time frames on a 4 hour, are we looking a little bit more like a pullback first and then continuation later? Yes, I do think so. Pulling back anywhere to 1.3 million Satoshi is completely fine. This is a good reversal for the short term. I don't even see any 4 hour bearish divergence, but again, coming back down and basing a little bit lower for a higher low somewhere around 1.3 million Satoshi is completely fine. In fact, I wouldn't even suggest that I'd be calling this a trap back onto the downside, as long as you're above about 8 million Satoshis now. This one does generally look good on the higher term time frame, especially short term time frames, just a bit of a pullback most likely here. Daily Jewel still with some upside posturing. Daily BBWP is exactly what you expect on a healthy consolidation with a higher low fashion. Beautiful. I'm looking for this one to continue upwards and onwards, very likely towards the next major range highs. Your actual prior daily range highs are about 8.5 million Satoshis, and I would judge that as a target, looking for any sort of a 4 hour closure, basically on new highs above not last 4 hour high, but the one before that, basically at 8.3 million, 3 million Satoshis above there. I look for yet again another test back up towards your 8.5 million Satoshis highs, and very likely sets it up for continuation over the next few weeks. Weekly, this is just a fucking uptrend. It's very clean and clear and beautiful, and we even have another drive of hidden bullish divergence over here alongside low volatility reads on the daily, so that is typically a good setup. Monthly did close decently enough to where I am generally looking for this one to have a very good first quarter of 2022, with likely targets up towards 11 million Satoshis over time, and probably even more than that over the longer period of time. What I want to do now is I want to look at the US dollar pairing actually and see what that one's looking like. I imagine there is probably going to be some good confluence between these two, and we were looking at a bit of a short-term reversal yesterday in Ethereum, and yes, I'd say the same thing today as well. You do have a pair of higher highs and higher lows. Beautiful. I'm sure that some people are going to call this a rising wedge. Rising wedges work out about 30% of the fucking time, so not a great not a great source of edge in my experience, but hey, where would you essentially confirm this as a rising wedge reversal? Well, back down below on a 4 hour closing, lower low than 37.69 in this case, with targets back down somewhere around your 36.80-ish lows, spike lows from a couple days ago, which would be, again, still fine. Ultimately, though, I do think that you are within the midst of perhaps a major reversal right here on the daily. The reason why I say that is because you are starting to get your first pair of higher lows on the short and medium term time frames. Still, however, what is the big areas to be aware of? What essentially reverses this one? What essentially makes this one bullish with targets up to 5,400 plus in the following month or two after confirmation confirmation, and it'd be the same shit as before. 4130. Just mark that goddamn area off on your damn charts. That is the area where I would be very, very happy to be long-term, looking for this one to continue with strong trend towards basically 5,400 with a stop along the way on the daily, somewhere around about 50, sorry, not 50, but 4,500 or so. Now, short-term, where did I start to get excited about this one? I mean, I'm generally looking for this one to actually fall through today and test somewhere up around about 3920 to 3950-ish region. Again, that doesn't really do too much. Yes, I do have this one as one falling wedge on the greater scale here, which again, I'm not a humongous fan of, or a falling channel, which is a little bit better in this case. It actually does have a bit of a history of playing these out over the past few months here, and it likes these round numbers essentially. You know, you have $2,000 over here on the base on the macro in July. You have about $3,000 on the base over here more recently in September, and then this one at about $4,000 coming into, you know, end of 2021, beginning of 2022. So ultimately, I'm still waiting for, you know, these areas over here, but it is starting to show a little bit of relative strength, and I believe that we do have, or do we have? No, we do not have. We actually don't have any bullish divergence right there, but we do have something else that is rather interesting right here, which is daily jewel starting to give a little bit of an upside posturing, which, well, I generally look at that as a good thing alongside daily RSI rejection the bearish control zone. So, you know, if I had to put my bias on it, I do think that this one eventually breaks out to the upside. Just again, I want to see those levels cleared and cleaned and cleared above, and I don't really have any reason to get bearish on this thing, especially as long as you're above 3,600 on a daily closing basis. Below there, I do look for big moves down to, you know, 3,400 essentially. Until then, you know, I think that this one's got a few good things going on. You got the same sort of very low volatility signatures alongside daily momentum turning up on the daily stochastic over here as well. As long as this one does remain closing above about 30, basically 3,700, I think the 12 hour is also leading into this as well. Yep, 3,700, also the magical number right there, which is good. So as you see them kind of building on top of each other. 6 hour going to freshly turn up above 3,800, so that is more medium term. 4 hour is going to be 3,840, which you are currently actually trading below. So again, short term probably does play, you know, a little bit of a range here, as is the 2 hour, as is, I imagine, the hourly as well, actually above 3,800, which is not bad. What about the 5 day? 5 days still corrective, so higher term time frame still suggesting that's probably not going to see any like major massive continuation from here just yet. But you know, short term time frames, bit of an ebb and flow going sideways. Daily starting to turn up, and just be aware of where those major changing areas are. And hopefully that was helpful for Mr. Buterol, and I will leave it right there. Nicely done, sirs and zers. All right, we got fucking by the dip, and you know what? This is a good one to be talking about today, especially Link, because Link has been among some of the more interesting charts for the last couple of weeks here, and you do see a clean and clear reversal on this one, actually. And this one is following through with our targets from yesterday, which is great. We do see first and foremost our first higher low right here. Check out the prior high. Of course, a couple days ago, that did make us kind of more or less bullish on this one, looking for a continuation of this reversal. And the reason why I want to really focus on this one is the weekly, actually, because the weekly did confirm a higher low. That higher low is coming alongside of hidden bullish evidence right here, and volatility is starting to increase off the lows as well. So I look at that as, you know, typically a pretty damn powerful signal. And this one, as we said yesterday, very likely going to play back up somewhere around about $28.5 to $29.5. And then long term on the macro scale, where do I look at this one as essentially fully resolved and looking for, you know, long-term continuation? Probably to prior all-time highs and very likely beyond would be with a weekly closure on new highs above your range highs, which is 33 and a quarter. If you're using a daily, could you use the same area? No, you could not. I would use, in this case, 35 and a half or so would kind of be good enough for me. But for right now, yes, I do think that this one continues from here. Short-term targets probably going to be back up to about 27 and a half with a short-term pullback around there. Dailies, you know, generally looking good right here. Again, daily RSI reaching for the bullish control zone for the first time since, you know, October, when it had this failed run over here, to be fair. And daily jewel also following through as well with volatility expanding. So that is typically a pretty damn good signal. And I kind of just leave it right there. Maybe just briefly check out weekly momentum. I wonder if that's also shifting in the same direction, because that would be an incredibly powerful setup as well. And yes, actually it is. I'm glad that I checked it out over here. Above basically $20, this one does remain with weekly upside momentum, which is, well, good. And even the monthly will pull back up with the closure above 28 and a half, which I do think that you're probably going to test within the next week or so. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sir. Let's see. Okay, let me pull back. I think we have Super Googly next. Hello, sir. Happy New Year to you as well. Let's look at the highly valuable projects which benefit the futures of humankind for a good start. Can we... God fucking damn it. Shib? Actually, I think last time we looked at this, it wasn't maybe... I think it was actually reversing last time we looked at this. So maybe I hold back Maybe I'll hold back for now, but let's... All right, I'm going in. Not the right chart. I'm going in again. Motherfucker, also not the right... Maybe this one. Or this one works. Still ugly as fuck, but... God damn it, man. Look, I'm actually gonna probably end up being bullish on this thing. You're probably setting in a higher low right here, to be fair. I think the same chart that we had... Did I not chart this one? I know that I've charted this one. All right, well, whatever it is. Look, we actually did play out our full correction down just below 3,000, which is what we were calling for way back on over here in November. I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but just to show that, look, these things take fucking time, man, especially when you go straight vertical like that off of pretty much no reason. Fair enough. But for right now, yeah, I do think that you're probably going to put in a bit of a higher low right there. Where does that essentially get destroyed? Any sort of a daily closing lower low than about 3,000. Until then, you do have a bit of a reversal range going on right here, confirmed above 39.20 or so, with targets back up towards 5,000 plus after that is kind of what I'd be looking for on this one. So until then, you know, very short-term time frames. Look, it's probably building up some bullish evidence. Yeah, you are building up some bullish evidence right there on the 4 hour. Very likely going to try a short-term upside move. And dare I say, this one does probably try a reversal from here. I would get incredibly... I mean, you know, again, you're very likely to bounce off these regions regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. Now, here's what I could say. I will flip around to being incredibly bearish on this one, looking for big moves down to 2,000, which is going to be about a... 30% downside move with any sort of a closure below about 3,000 in this case. Until then, I'm actually looking at this as probably going to do something like this. I'll do, this is not a LARP line, but this is a LARP curve, something like that. If you see something like that, probably going to end up being okay and follow the rest of the market. So hopefully that was helpful, sir. And there you go for Shibboleth token, my favorite piece of garbage, piece of massively highly esteemed technology. And there you go, sir. All right, let's see. We got Mark Wilson. That says, thoughts on alts, big ones in micros, performance in the short term if continue. I don't think that you can lump all alts together, man. I think that this market is bifurcated enough where you have sectors that are obviously doing, you know, different things in varying degrees of strength. And right now, the DeFi sector is showing strength, and the rest of the market is just hanging on to lows for dear life. Anyways, you're saying performance in the short term if continued slow beat on large caps like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So far, Port is just still... What the fuck is Port? Dare I look at this thing? Port Finance on Ascendex, FTX, and CoinEx. This is fine to you? Fine? What the fuck is fine about this chart? It only goes down. It only goes fucking down. What's fine about this, man? What's fine about this? If this is fine, every fucking chart in the world is fine. It's like I'm a professional investor, and I have to explain to my clients here, guys, look, I've been trading for 3 months. Look, down 80%, fine. Nothing wrong with that. Doing fine. Look, we just went down 80%. Hold on, guys, look at this. 29% up. That's amazing. We're doing fine. We're doing fucking fine, man. We're doing real fucking fine. Only 300% to break even. Seems like we're seeing a shift in market dynamic between Bitcoin and alts. I would humbly disagree with that. I do think, however, if you are looking for the stronger sector right now, that would be the DeFi sector. I'm going to guess based off the name Port Finance, this is a part of the DeFi sector, but goddamn, man, it is not among the strong ones in the DeFi sector, I would say, based off this chart. Assuming that we're looking at the right chart, you just put in Port there, so I'm not sure if this is, yeah, this is not well. This is not well, man. Sorry, man. I couldn't help myself right there. Look, I'm not trying to be a dickhead to you as a person, but as a chart, yeah, this is not fine. At least in my view. Yeah, this is still Mark Wilson. But yeah, to answer your question, I do think that I think that you can't really say that alts all are like the same thing now. I think that we have sectors in DeFi sector is clearly doing something different and showing strength, relatively speaking. Not necessarily this particular asset. This one looks like absolute fucking garbage. And if the DeSci sector does continue upwards and onwards, this one's probably just going to put in lower high rallies, which could still put in some nice rallies towards $3 or so. But I think best it does see upside is maybe $4 overall, and that would be like that would be like a perfect situation where everything gets going. But yeah, man, I have to humbly disagree that this would not. I don't think that this one's relatively showing strength. The other DeFi ones that are looking pretty damn good. Well, I think we've kind of seen some of them today already, or maybe we haven't. But I think it's like the phone ones, FOAN. Anyways, I see someone having a question right here. Dogoshi N says, Krown, do a YouTube on using hollow candles now that you've switched to them, sir. For the love of fucking God. I don't know if I'm being trolled right now. There is absolutely zero difference between hollow candles and regular candles, just so you know. Krown, do YouTube. By similar contrast, you do a YouTube on hollow candles. Sorry, man. I'm just having a fun time. No, there's really no difference. In a more sincere tone, there is no difference. It's just visual, man. It's just visual. The only things that would really be different are like bars, high, low, close bars, which actually I quite like. That's how I learned line charts, which I think is rather obvious, and then Heikin-Ashi, Renko, and these sort of things, which I'm not qualified to speak on. But hollow candles and regular candles, they are literally the same thing. Don't let it confuse you. It's quite literally the same thing. Cool. Man, being a bit of a dickhead today. I apologize, sir. I apologize, but they are the same thing. So. Fair enough, man. Anyways, Venom Incorporated says, woo, 4 hour daily. What do you mean, no? No. Oh, it is Luke Faulkner. Cis momentum volatility. Let's see. So you're saying, I'm guessing you're saying it does have that. Hey, by the way, are you related to the Faulkner? The Faulkner? Anyways, okay, you're looking at a 1 in 4 hour daily. Well, that's fucking good, man. This would be doing relatively good to answer Mark Wilson's question. This is pretty good. What does this thing do? Whatever it is, the market likes it. So do we have volatility momentum, or is it at extremes? It's getting there, yes. But I really want to see this get up towards about 95 percentile plus. That's when I really start to look for like parabolic highs. For example, you see this way back on over here, and I imagine this was your prior major highs. Yeah, indeed it was. You see extremes on reads like this, and that was your high for a very long time, basically for like the next 6 months, but a little bit more than 6 months, like 8 months or so, does look like. So I think you're getting there, but this is actually still rather constructive. I do think that you can pull back rather aggressively. Anywhere down to like $1 base would be completely fine. Doesn't really do anything for the trend. All momentum also is actually still good here. Daily RSI is nice and healthy for what it's worth right now. Yeah, you will have some bearish evidence at some point, but I suspect that you do continue to new highs first before anything like that. Daily Jewel is starting to lose a little bit of its of its momentum and volatility read right there. But that's okay. I do expect that aligns with a short-term time frame consolidation, of which you'll probably see on a 4 hour, which is exactly what you're seeing right here, actually. So I would even say that, again, even if you're on a 4 hour, 114 is a bit of a base. So as long as you're above there, on a 4 hour closing basis, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for that move down to $1, but if that does happen, I would be looking for the move to $1, and I'd just be looking for a higher low there. I mean, this is good. This is what you expect after essentially making new all-time highs. You're very likely going to spend a little bit of time consolidating, and then all higher term timeframes above that are still bullish here. I think it has at least one more push, and then you'll probably find some pretty major highs for a while. But yeah, I'd agree with you. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there, but I don't think it's there just yet. I think that just aligns with a bit of a short-term consolidation and one more drive at minimum for continuation, and then we get to play the game, I guess. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for that, sir. Nice. Let's see. I see Leo still asking about my testnet. I haven't traded my testnet in like 2 months, man. I have my hands full with my real account, dude. I don't know why I keep on asking this, man. But fair enough. Anyways, what did I miss over here? Wait, did you? No, there it is. Venom Incorporated. Woo. Okay, woo. Okay. On KuCoin. Yeah, actually, I do think that you have a bit of a reversal going on right here. In fact, short term, it probably does pull back. You're looking at a 4 hour daily. Yeah, so 4 hours probably going to pull back. Pullback targets can easily come back down to like 110, 112. That's not an issue. This one is bullish, especially as long as you're above about $1.05 on a 4-hour. Daily is continuation after a bit of a short-term consolidation, I imagine. But here's the thing, man. You got daily jewel with upside momentum alongside volatility expanding. I always love that read, and I'm generally looking for this one to probably give a try towards about 134 to 135 region, and that would be the area that I'd be a little bit more cognizant of. But for right now, this one's actually switching around to a full-on bullish posturing, so I would imagine that long term, it probably does pull back from there and spend a little bit of consolidation going sideways and lower from that region. However, this one's going to be considered a macro reversal here as long as you're above $1.05. Actually, it actually is showing some promise. And again, this is kind of good for the general crypto sphere because with a lot of these alts actually showing reversals here, it likely implies that Bitcoin's going to do something relatively similarly. I guess Bitcoin's just kind of being the laggard in this market right now, which, fair enough. That is a bit of a change in the dynamic that I think we've seen within the past year or so. Bitcoin no longer, I mean, it still kind of judges the general direction, but it just doesn't seem like as many alts are dependent upon, especially the upside for as Bitcoin as well. Anyways, I think we have we have Mr. BS. Mr. BS. Where's Miss BS? You can't BS a BS. Oh shit! Just typed in BS right there. Whoopsies. Let's see. Okay, let's try this. Versus I'm gonna guess the Ethereum pairing actually has history. Yeah. Okay, so the US dollar pairing is not gonna work there. So we're gonna do this one on Uniswap, and really, really good. Yeah, we looked at this one yesterday. The day prior, I was completely wrong about this, but good thing that we identified it yesterday, and we said, hey, look, this is just another higher low. This one's getting ready for continuation, and I think we actually had some targets in mind, so let's see if those got hit. No, this would not be it, because it didn't save, but I'll just be looking at this right here. Let me just pull this up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I would be looking for this one to play back down somewhere around about 286. Yeah, this one even blew past my target, which would have been about 309. Although on a closing basis, you can see that does still hold to fruition, does still hold true. But here's the thing, man. It's just very likely to be a short-term pullback, somewhere down around, just below. Somewhere down around about 285,000 butyrols, I'm guessing, or whatever the hell that number is. And then I'm not really bearish on a chart that looks like this, to be fair, so I'm probably looking for maybe another try higher after that. Pretty impressive chart, actually. Very, very impressive chart. I'm actually curious what the hell this one does because it has a cool name. And, well, Elsa is also the biggest Star Wars fan in the household now, so, she wants to... She says, I just like Baby Yoda. Sir, it's Grogu. It's Grogu, for the love of fucking God. If I look at it from this angle as well, I mean, you did kind of hit the 1.618. So yeah, likely to play back down a little bit short term, but I'm not bearish on this. There's not really anything bearish about this as long as you're above about 250,000 butyrols. So I'm just looking for a short-term pullback, likely a long-term continuation, but I don't really have anything to add on to it other than that. Again, among some of the better charts that we've seen, and quite impressive actually. AK Makar says, "Hey Krown, I hope you're having a great. I hope you both have both. What the fuck, both? This is about me, man." Just kidding, man. Someone has to have fucking fun during these times, man. It's yeah, that's right. No joking allowed. Yeah, I've been getting some more and more. Man, this market must be really like fucking with some people because there's an increase in the amount of comments saying, "Hey, man, what the fuck is all this laughing and joking about?" It's like, I don't know, man. We're looking at fucking magic internet money that pretty much does almost nothing for most of these things, and they usually go up and to the right, which is quite impressive. Anyways, you're looking at Atom. Will we see a short-term pullback? When would the bullishness be negated? Let's go check it out. That would be a good one to check out, as it's probably one of the more strong ones, especially recently as well. Let's see. When will bullishness be negated? Okay, wow, powerful move right there, man. Not anytime soon. I do think that you're probably going to consolidate from here, but let me actually record this one. I know that this one's rather popular right now. So here we have Cosmos, symbol ATOM. Now we looked at this one, I think this was last week, and we marked off this area over here at 3280 as being a major reversal region, of which that was closed above soon after that, and that initiated our next targets up towards basically $40 in our prior highs, of which we got already, which is very, very impressive. This is very, very strong right here. It's among some of the strongest charts that we've seen today and as of recently. Now, the question is, when would bullishness be negated? Now, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. Obviously, 4-hour time frame is very likely to pull back just by the simple nature of retesting your all-time highs. And in this case, we will have some bearish divergence forming right here, but that is not negating long-term bullishness. This is a really, really good setup long-term. And while I do think that this one can very easily pull back, let's say to even like $36.50, that doesn't do anything for the daily, for example. This one is long-term bullish and looking for probably, I'm going to guess new all-time highs. Yeah, you're already at new all-time, or you're already at all-time highs, but you're very likely looking at new all-time highs after a pullback. Again, anywhere around $36.50 is fair game. I mean, shit, man, this thing could come back down to like $34 and still be quote unquote fine on a daily. So I would be looking for a pullback from here. I would be looking for this one to consolidate a little bit short-term sideways and down, which is fine. Long-term though, continuation is the name of the game. This is fucking good right here, man. And again, just another higher low right around the weekly 55. I imagine you saw this on declining volatility, which you did. Starting to turn up yet again. We see hidden bullish divergence on that last low. This one's very likely to make new all-time highs probably next week. Maybe at most 2 weeks from now. And we can talk about some tentative targets here just based off of the reaccumulation base, which I'll just go off of this reversal right here. You can see that we're already at the 1.618. That's fine. That's to be expected. Would be looking at the next sort of general target at about $50. While I would be looking for a short-term pullback from there, I'm really not looking for this run to put in like a more major consolidation until you work your way up into the mid-60s actually. And that would be probably like the month or two following that confirmation. But overall, among the best charts that we've seen today, bullish on the higher term time frame as long as you're above about $34. Short term probably pulls back a bit. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. If we go over here to our momentum charts, I imagine daily's getting pretty spent here, so I do think that you probably pull back a little bit in the short term. Weekly's just freshly turning up above 27.5, which is obviously nowhere near. In 4 hours, also turning down. So short term corrective, long term very, very likely continuation among some of the best charts that we've seen today, and very impressive actually as well. So hopefully that was helpful for Adam, sir. Adam, nice. I think we have AutoLink. Is that right? AutoLink is next. Okay, sweet. ICE USD on the 4-hour and daily. Got it. ICE USD, okay. I guess maybe Poloniex. I'm gonna guess probably has most history. Let's try Finex for a second here, just in case. Finex kind of sometimes surprises me with stuff, but yeah, actually way more in this case. Anyways, you're looking at a 4-hour and daily. Another decent chart right here. I think we looked at this one yesterday. We said, hey, this one is very likely reversing. And I think you're probably seeing your next higher low right here. In fact, let's see if hidden bullish evidence is also present. And no, it is not. That would have made this a much more easy call. You do see very low volatility. So, you know, I'm still looking at this as a reversal. The condition for that and essentially invalidation for not being a reversal and with targets back down to, you know, $13 would be with a daily or even like a 12-hour closure below 1970 in this case. Until then, I do look at this as your first consolidation after having your reversal, and likely does target back up towards $34, assuming that invalidation is not met. You know, decent here on the weekly, not that there's much history, and 4-hour, as you did request, is looking like it's going to try to put in a higher low. The question for me is, does it come maybe just ever so slightly lower? I really wouldn't mind if it came down just below $21 and tried for a higher low right there. It doesn't necessarily need to be exactly from where its current posturing is, but ultimately I'm looking for continuation on this. This is good. This is good. Again, above 1970, very fucking good. Very fucking good, we'll say. So sweet, man, and hopefully that was helpful, man. There you go. All right, sweet. Let's pull back. Jack Jansen is next. Oh, yes, I see. Near USD. Okay, yeah, I know that this one's very popular as well. Near USD. Okay, on Binance. And yeah, very, very good right here. Very fucking good right here. We have yet again another higher low and higher highs in this rally. I think that this one's continuing probably today or at latest by Friday. In this case, the LARP line's working. Hey, no fucking way, man. That is pretty silly. Again, they're not necessarily supposed to work like that, but generally speaking, I'm looking at this as, you know, just general continuation right here. Again, hidden bullish divergence on the last higher low on the weekly. Volatility starting to tick up here as well. I'm looking for probably big moves of continuation. Actually, this is a really strong consolidation after your major breakout. I know that we do have a chart on this one. Let me see where my next targets are. Next sort of general target would be $18 for the short term. I do think that you're probably going to bust on through there and initiate moves into the mid and deep 20s actually, with potential high looking around about 29 to 30, or more like 30 to $31 actually. Again, among some of the better charts. Where's your where would my invalidation be on this? Because of course not financial advice. Would be below about 1235 still. In fact, I'd even move that up to 1370 in this case. This is good. This is really, really good. Another chart that's among some of the best that we've seen today, especially and over the last couple of weeks here. Absolutely. Sweet. I think it is time for Mr. Brian Denali. He says, what did he say? Greetings, sir. Hello, sir. CHZ, daily and weekly. Also, is it true beef liver gives you super trading powers? I don't know about that, man, but it does give you a lot of energy. I will tell you that. And honestly, like, man, I like when I have this breakfast, it's like, I don't know, a quarter of a kilo of beef liver plus like 6 or 7 eggs plus, some blueberries or some fucking kiwis. Really, really good shit, man. Really fucking good. I don't know, just puts you in a good mood. It gives me all kinds of energy. And, I don't know, man. I know that a lot of people don't like liver, but suck it up, pussy, because it's fucking good for you. Anyways, daily and weekly on CHC. Another one that does look like it's putting in a bit of a weekly base right here. I imagine we probably have some hidden bullish invertence. And what do you fucking know? Another fractal of the same goddamn chart that we've seen a million times this week again. And yeah, I'm looking for this one to very likely bust on through. Let's go to the daily. Your next sort of confirmation of your actual low being printed in here, which again, I think that this is more of a formality, especially considering that most things in this market are already kind of doing this, is back above about 34.5 cents on a daily closure. Right now, you got your first higher low. Above there, I do look for moves up to about 42 cents or so. I want to quickly go back to Bitcoin over here. Let's see, is there anything more? Okay, I'm starting to look at maybe Bitcoin is more likely to move off from its current lows right here. I almost want to trade this, man. It's like I can't fucking help myself like a fucking fiend. Well, we'll see. Anyways, let's see. Actually, what exactly is that? 50 is what I want to be looking at. Okay, let me just see over here. I do want to mark this off. Don't necessarily want to get into position while I'm on stream, but I do want to mark a few things off for myself later is what I actually want to be doing. Gotta have that, gotta have a little bit more, what's called patience here. All right, let me see. I think we have a couple new ones. Mr. Lombardi, good morning, sir. Good morning to you as well. MK, it's like, good morning, sir. Good morning to you as well. Nice. MKR USD, please. Coinbase will do. Okay. Well, I just want to see the one with the most history. Let's see. Probably Binance is going to have it, to be honest with you. And you're looking at a what? Been consolidating since March 2018 or since March 18th? I'd say it's been consolidating basically since June, actually. I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So you are saying billion locked on DApp with, okay, I don't care about fundamentals, but I can see that this one, well, fair enough, whatever. Got a large buy off at 2.2 thousand. Okay. So you basically bought the lows. You basically bought the higher low. You couldn't have done better. You literally have a professional entry right there. Amazing. Well done, man. And looking for a move back to 6,000. Okay, that's basically your all-time high. Look, we see a lot of charts within this market today putting in bases like this on the macro scale and working their way back up towards their prior highs. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I guess relatable. Problem is, you're talking about a very high term time frame here. While I do think that you probably have an amazing position, well, you probably do at minimum test somewhere back around 2,700. And honestly, I think that you're very likely to test somewhere into the low 3,000s. It's not very wise, in my experience, to be going for the home run when you're way down here in the depths of hell for right now. So, something to consider. It never hurts taking a little bit of profit, even if it's just a little bit. But ultimately, where do I start to look back around 6,000 or not even 6,000? It'd really be 7,000 and probably new highs after that. That'd be, of course, back above on a weekly closing basis, 38.70 in this case. Do I think that you're probably going to bust on through here? Look, most things in this market are probably going to do the same thing as well. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt, especially with the way that Bitcoin's looking right now as well. It's really starting to make me consider that, maybe I should be a little bit more aggressive and not be looking for one more wick down first. Still think it can happen, but ultimately the general outlook on the higher term time frame is going to be the same. We're likely looking at some major weekly lows right now than not. That's kind of my general disposition. And the same thing on this one. And you have a phenomenal position, a very easy to manage position. In fact, you can basically have a stop in profit as well. It looks like to me. That's your higher lows at about 23.30. So makes kind of sense right there. Until then, Looking for this one to work its way sideways and up from here. You got a lot of the good things going on in your higher term time frame, so I'll just kind of leave it right there. All right, sweet. Let me pull back up here and see who we have next. I think it's Brian Denali. Says, nope, we did that one. Let's not all get our panties in a bind. Says, hey, Krown. Hello, sir, with a very long name. Greetings from the Jersey. Nice, man. Adam on the daily. Yep, we got that one. And you said if you already did it, then vet. Man, you are prepared for all situations. And yeah, we can definitely do that. Symbol VET, the chain. This is it's the second one from the top. Okay, so you're looking at vet on daily and weekly. So high term timeframes. Again, you'll notice this same sort of chart setup right here as we've seen it plenty of other times. And what is it? It's essentially this. It's essentially this. You got your first higher low right here. You're starting to turn the corner. And probably going to work your way back up towards your daily range highs at around just under $1 or so. This is fine. This is okay. And probably does push through because guess what? On the weekly, just like Link, almost a fractal of the fucking Link chart, you do see that drive of hidden bullish divergence on a bit of a higher low. Volatility starting to increase. Your momentum also to the downside are really starting to get spent there. Look, I really just want to see this one close above your, sorry, it's not $1. It's 10 cents. Apologies, 10 cents region. And then I look for this one to put in some big rallies up towards, your mid-teens essentially. Looks good, man. It looks generally good right there. So hopefully that was helpful. You have an obvious invalidation below yesterday's wick low, in fact, which is just like what 8.825 cents. It's pretty easy one right there. Of course, doesn't mean that you can't get invalidated, but if you do get invalidated, coming way back down to your lows at 7.5 cents most likely, and then well, pray to Bula Jesus after that. Nero Strutton says, "Bruh, hello, bruh." What? Mercia? Yes. Oh, okay, it is. He is actually next. Joe. Okay. Joe versus the Derper. I guess we go to this one. Probably gonna have the best history right here. And what do we have? Not actually a fan of this chart, for what it's worth. Not great, in fact. Anyways, let me just make sure. I want to continue to keep my eye on price action over there. I feel like there is an opportunity coming up here. Yeah, honestly, not a big fan of this one right here as far as charts go. Now, can I be wrong about this one? You did test your prior wick low, so you filled that. You're very likely to bounce off this region. I don't necessarily think that gaps work on something like this, but very likely back up to $2 nonetheless, as I'm sure that you have bullish evidence building up. Yes, you do. Here's the thing, though, man. This does look like distribution at the highs for what it's worth. Just kind of going out there and saying that. So look, if you're gonna do like the fucking gamble play right here, you kind of do have it. You're still on your bottom area, obviously. And how'd you kind of negate that? You'd be looking at this area right here, any sort of a daily closure. Let's just call it below 170 because these are very illiquid and it's kind of hard to be super exact with these ones. So I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I guess I do treat this as potentially a low, and you probably work your way up somewhere around low $2 region, but not the strongest chart. And typically when I see something like this, it is distribution, but I suspect that this just like, barely trades. And I'm looking at the volume right here. It's like a 100 volume on the day. It's really hard to make much out of that. So look, I'd be very happy to be bullish on this one above about 260 for moves back up to your prior highs. Until then, I'm just looking at a move maybe back up to $2 and big red dildos below about 170. If that does happen, targets down to 145 and probably even $1 over time is going to be relevant right there. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for that. But yeah, just be aware that just kind of sloppy right there, not really much to be going off of, unfortunately. So I feel like that wasn't too helpful, but I'm going off of most market analysis here than individualistic analysis. All right, now we have Mr. Bruh. He's looking at BAT daily. All right, sir. BAT over here, basic attention token, and not bad. Actually, another higher low right here. This one actually showing more relative strength as it does consolidate around its current highs. Looking for a daily move over the next few days here to about 145, a closure above there, and I look for this one to make a move towards the blue box in the following weeks. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all, sir. All right. That was the third one from the highs, I believe. Okay, let's see what we have next. We have Mr. Bro again. Mana. All right, mana on the daily. Gotcha. Okay, decentral learned. Hey, stop that. There we go. Again, same thing as kind of before on this one. At best going sideways for a while. I think that you are setting a bit of a higher low right here. Yes, and probably do work your way back up short term to like 340-ish region in the next week or so. What the fuck was that? Is that my hair? It's my hair. The fuck? Anyway, sorry. Sorry, I'm very confused by my mop. Anyways, long term, where are we? Yeah, this one really did fucking blow off its top, didn't it? The question is this one done with its consolidation just yet or not? I'm still looking at this one as most likely to go sideways with probably short-term bouncy behaviors from where we're at right now. I wouldn't really call this your next sort of confirmed higher low until you're back above about 341.5. Above there, I do look for this one to test back up, not to the prior highs range, but just to about 380-ish region. It's going to start to look a lot better for the long term. But again, I have to reiterate yet again my stance on this one and a lot of these similar ones in the metaverse that kind of blew off their top. At best, you're probably going sideways for a while. But yeah, short term probably does try some upside from there. Obviously going to be bearish below about $3 even. Until then, I'm just looking for sideways with short term up. And kind of just take it one step at a time right there. Leo YouTube says, Ola Krown updates on testnet plus screen. Thanks for Argentine. Hey man, no problem. But I haven't been trading the account for a while now, like I said. So I don't really have anything to update there. It's probably still around like 30 Bitcoin or whatever the fuck it was. It's just I'm not really motivated to trade it right now when I'm trading my real accounts, which will have like real money on them. And well, I'm kind of preparing for a few things here. But I can tell you what I would be doing in this case. What I would have been doing is I would have been selling the 50, like probably the 52 versus 44 strangle, as I kind of look at that as the range, and I like to trade those ranges and then probably buy the wings after that. And I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to be going for a vol play right now. So I mean, looking at daily, yeah, it's probably not the worst time to be doing something like that. So fair enough. All right, sweet. What? Long-term investor. We have a long-term investor. KuCoin, Grin, BTC, weekly looking for reversal. Whales accumulating. That's right. They are accumulating your Grin shitcoin, sir. Grin BTC. Sure. Let's check it out. Weekly specifically is. Okay, and next we have Alan says B Pro earlier for the weekly. Whale accumulation. That's right, man. These whales are manipulating your chart to accumulate your Grin tokens. They've manipulated it so much that they've literally sold it all the way fucking down from the highs to the lows of 99.5%. They're accumulating every last little fucking drop. Best this thing does to the upside is like 5,000 Satoshis, which is actually a pretty big move from where you're at right now. But no, this is not whale accumulation. This is shitcoin destruction is what it is, sir. Again, not talking shit about you as a person. Not talking shit about you as a person, but whale accumulation? Who's accumulating this? They're only selling it. It's still distribution, man. It's still actually distribution. But if this one does catch a bid, I'm probably looking, maybe towards 3,000 on a weekly, and I think at best 5,000. This thing's never gone up. It's literally never gone up ever, ever, ever. It's only ever been sold. Ever. Even in one of the biggest bull markets of all fucking time in 2021, where everything in their mother, even SHIB shitcoin token went up. This thing just put in lower highs, and I have no reason to not believe that as well. Terrible, terrible chart. Alan says, sent Bree Pro earlier for the weekly. Can you add the daily as well? Yes. Let me plop this one up over here. B Pro USD. Yeah, not the most relatively strong one that we've seen today. I imagine you're probably building up some bullish evidence on the daily. You are 1, 2, 3, actually 4 drives building up right there. So this is actually a pretty easy one to trade just because, you have a very obvious invalidation, right? You have a very, very obvious invalidation as if you are going to trade the multiple drives of bullish evidence, you just expect no closing lower lows and like 4.9 cent in this case. You're probably going to look at something like this if I had to guess, where you maybe spike around a little bit more, setting a higher low, and then you're probably going to get a move somewhere around here at about 0.7 of a cent or so. It's not the strongest one that we've seen today, but we see most things in this market kind of doing something relatively similar to that. So I'm inclined to say this one probably follows through as well. But speaking in terms of relative strength, this one is relatively weak. Where do you think starts to look a lot better long term? That would be above, of course, actually above that target, above about 0.7 of a cent on a daily closure. You probably do put rallies back in towards, I guess, 1 cent even. But again, it's you know, there are plenty of other ones that are showing relative strength that have a similar setup. This one's, you know, hanging on to the lows. This is usually not the best sign. So it probably trades with the rest of the market is what I'm trying to say, but it's probably not going to do as well as the ones that we've seen earlier, to be fair. Cool. KMK, you mean? The bottom one, I got it. CRV, yeah, CRV is always interesting to look at. It's just been one of the better acting ones, man. Okay, yeah, and again, still very, I'm bullish on this. That's what I'm trying to say, man. This is good for the long term. If you're on like a weekly, let's say, I'm still looking at this one to work its way up towards $9. Very likely a big pullback from there and consolidation between there and about $6.50, and then long term probably looking into the low teens, you know, in the months to come. But it's still among some of the better charts. Again, you're consolidating right at your highs. You've kind of had, I think you've almost had already the pullback that we were looking for. Yeah, so we looked at this one yesterday and the day prior. We already kind of saw the pullback. You're just getting another higher low right there, and it's a very aggressive higher low, to be fair. This thing could pull back more if it wanted to, like $5.50, and that's still fine. This one's bullish on all higher term time frames as long as you're above, let's just call it 5.25, most importantly. So I'm actually looking at this one as kind of in a posture to maybe even break this today. Hidden bullish evidence right there will be confirmed with any sort of a closure on a 4 hour here or higher. Volatility is relatively low. Probably looking at this one busting on through, man. Whether it happens this week or next week, I don't really have a strong opinion on, but long term, among some of the better charts, certainly that we've seen. So quite interesting right there. Sweet. All right, let me pull back up on over here. What? Mercia Dima? EGLD. Gotcha. EGLD is Elrond. I just got to Lorien in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. It's probably my least favorite chapter actually thus far. Those elves, man, they're boring. Anyways, daily over here, I'm sure that you're putting in some drives of bullish evidence. Oh, what do you fucking know? Some drives of bullish evidence right there. Likely does play up to the 55 at about 275 to 280-ish region. And I would actually start to confirm this as like your next major low. I wouldn't even say it needs to get back above there, but daily closure above about 315 would do it for me, with targets back up, not necessarily to your all-time highs, but about $400 after that. And again, you know, you have a decent setup right here. Volatility very low. You're getting some drives of bullish evidence, and you know, you have an obvious sort of base right here, which would essentially be below about 225, your current lows essentially. Weekly would be a little bit aggressive here, to be fair, but probably going to bounce a little bit with the rest of the market. That's kind of my general thoughts on something like this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if Bitcoin does dump out here, but fair enough. Anyways, okay, we got that. It's Edwin's generation. 505. Clever, man, very clever. Near, we already did near earlier, or did it garner enough Super Saiyan juice? We just briefly go back to it for a second here. But this is near protocol, obviously, and this was among some of the better ones. No, I don't think that this one's done here. Bullish and in trending motion as long as it's above $15. I'm actually looking for this one to make a nice move up in the next couple of weeks here. Very likely to make new all-time highs, maybe this week, but I mean, it's kind of already made it this week, but very likely next week as well. Still looking into the mid to upper 20s, essentially. I like that chart, man. On the higher term time frames, especially shorter term time frames, you know, can always have an ebb and a flow right there. Mr. Nick Zinger says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, man. Hey, all good. Hey, thank you for that. It's just a nice positive message. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for that, and much love to you as well. Yeah, man, you know, of course, it's like, I feel like I need to justify it. It's like, yeah, I enjoy doing this shit. Yeah, it's fucking fun, man. It's a selfish endeavor, but it's altruistic in some ways as well. And I just realized I'm out of my Krown cup coffee over here as well. Man, I must look like such a fucking douchebag. I wear my own sweatshirt, which is a Bear Jesus sweatshirt. I have my own hat, and then I have my own coffee mug. But like no one in the city knows who I am, so it doesn't matter. But if they did, it would be like, man, you really think highly of yourself. It's like, no, I just actually like this stuff. It's actually quite nice. Anyways, Aaron Pedden that says strong USD. Sure. Even Elsa was wearing the Bear Jesus shirt yesterday. Strong USD. It is pretty fun to wear. Feels soft too, very soft. No time frames given, so I'm just going to go with a daily and probably a 4-hour. Short term, whatever target we had mapped up over here at about 650 has been hit. I do look for short-term pullbacks from there. That is not the same thing as reversal. Pullbacks down to like 560 or even 550 are fine. Daily, I'm looking for general continuation probably in the next couple of weeks here. Any sort of a 4-hour closure above 650 highs, and I'm looking for price action back up towards 725 to 750 or so. And again, this one's just looking like you have another major low in here. Invalidation on bullishness below about 550, let's call it. So it can pull back short term, which I think it probably does, but long term, looking at continuation there among some of the better charts yet again. Let me pull back up here and see. Else is like actually organized all these chats now. This is really cool. Thank you for that. Elijah says Sol USD. Yeah, no one asks about Salam yells anymore on Binance. What do we have? Again, you can see that it's trying to set in a higher low here. Do become a little bit lower, maybe to swipe 160 again. It's definitely possible. If I go down here to a 4-hour, which I believe you did, yes, you did ask for, it does look like we have a little bit of a short-term low in place. You got many drives of bullish divergence, volatility very, very low. Probably looking for this one to try move back up to about 175. Doesn't do anything for even the medium-term time frame ranges. That would be, let me just rechart this one for this time frame. It's getting a little bit convoluted, but that'd be above about let's just call it 180, make it nice and simple. Above 180, I do look for this one to make another move back up towards $200, and then the daily can take over. If you do start to close above $200 on a daily, then this thing very likely works its way back up towards this prior rejective high from early December, 235 to 240ish region, and this would start to look a lot more like your next macro low. Until then, I'm kind of biased towards that happening. If you lose your current low side structure here on the 4-hour at 166.5 on a 4-hour closure, I would look for this one to give one more try down towards your 155 to 160 lows officially. Very likely another bounce there, and then I want to come back to it. I would not say that bounce is inherently going to be a reversal. I'd want to see it after that. And fair enough. Sweet, man. Cool. Recard crypto. Okay. Oh, there. Riga. No, that's like, where's Riga? Latvia. That's it. Or Lithuania. No. Yeah, well, it's somewhere there. Sorry, man. I'm American, so I don't know my geography. Strong, we literally just looked at that one, so I think we're all good there, man. Strong was looking good. So if you just rewind, like, I don't know, about 2 minutes, 3 minutes prior to this exact moment, then you will see exactly that. Sweet. Okay, I think we have Mr. Yeah, okay, so it's Mr. Gabor next. He says, Phil, yeah, is this Filecoin or Philcoin or fill my bunghole coin or whatever the fuck coin? Daily, weekly. Again, you have another thing that's kind of rounded at the bottom. It's a bit more on the weaker side, but you have a clear invalidation on a daily low being set in below about 33 and 20 cents. It's basically the fucking low. Probably does try to bounce back up towards 44 to 45 bucks or so. Short-term time frames like a 4-hour look like they do want to work their way back up towards that low $40 number, so I'd give it a chance, put in a bit of a low here. Rallies back up to 43 to 44 is completely fine. Doesn't really do too much for you. It's back above about 45 on a daily closure, where this thing starts to look like it's actually setting a big low and works its way back up towards low 50s. But for right now, more likely to bounce here than not. Just relatively weak compared to a lot of the charts that we've seen today, to be fair. John Dude says, Guten Tag. Hello, Guten Tag to you as well. Netvak USD on the KuCoin has been Scheiße. In mein Wife, leave me. When can I buy Volkswagen Golf to bring her back? NetVRK. It's definitely a German coin on KuCoin. So what are you looking at? Daily and weekly? Yeah, we just did Gabber. So this would be, the LARP lines did not work out in that case. There you go. There's a good example of LARP lines being exactly what they are. LARP fucking lines. Look, a lot of these charts are setting in lows within this region. I agree with your wife, though. You picked a shit coin to kind of edge into, I guess. But in this case right here, and I'm guessing you're probably long from higher, so yeah, your wife's definitely left you by this point. But what? It's... Sorry. But below two, what is this, like 283, below 283, there's no more hopium in this one left, and you're probably going to see back down to like 230 to 240ish region before your next sort of pity bounce, and it's just very likely to be just that, a pity bounce. Short term though, you kind of have to be looking at market analysis. This thing is not strong on its own by any stretch of the imagination. So what do you make of this right here? Look, even on the short-term time frames, this thing's ugly as fuck. The problem is that if the rest of the market goes, this thing is not going to follow strongly, at least in my opinion. Do I think you're going to bounce out this region? Probably yes, because I think regular market's just generally getting ready to bounce here. Where do you start to get excited about this one from like a short-term time frame? 3.25, and then I look for moves not up to the top side of your range. I'd be very conservative with this one, down back around about 370. Until then, as long as you're below about $4, I think your wife's going to be missing for a while. Above $4, wife probably comes back. Maybe even change your wife at that point, depending upon where you entered into this highly seen piece of technology. And you might even see a move up to about 535 or so. But for right now, man, it's among some of the weaker charts that we've seen today. Hanging on to your lows right now is not like a sign of strength. The good ones have already kind of made their moves or are setting in those higher lows first, and this one is not among those. But, of course, they're going to follow regardless. VRA says daily and weekly. Turbo, yeah. VRA, Veracity has a cool name. Let's see what the chart looks like. Another one that's just hanging on to the lows right here, getting a nice little pity bounce from it. Looks like it doesn't really trade them. I mean, we're on Bittrex after all. It's kind of a dead exchange, but yeah, it's an ever so slightly higher low. We got a little bit of hoping right here. Obviously, I'm sure that we have bullish evidence on a 4-hour. We certainly do. Volatility is very, very low here as well. Probably looking at a short-term move back up towards 3.5 cents or so. You're on a daily and weekly, however. So again, I guess my LARP line's kind of working on this one. Your next sort of short-term good signal would be with even like a daily closure back above about 3.7 cents, let's call it. And that would imply a move back up towards your prior range highs at 4.3. Above there, that's when things start to look like quite good again. And you probably do have your next major weekly low in, I'm going to guess. Yeah, you would. And guess what? It's another correction down to the 55. You got that drive of hidden bullish evidence right there. Volatility starting to tick up. I'm looking for most of the market to put in lows around this region. Does it have maybe one more try lower? Possibly yes, if Bitcoin has a bit of a trap situation. If not, well, fair enough. I mean, that's completely fine as well. So hopefully that was helpful. I want to go back to Bitcoin here just really, really quickly, see where we're at right now. Yep. Okay, yeah. Close the super chats. That would be a good idea. Do I want to? Yeah, you can start to see that major movement never to switching into a bit of a very short-term reversal posturing. 4-hour, not so much, however. But fair enough. Anyways, we'll do that over there and that over there, and I'll wait for Elsa to post, and then I will pin that comment. You did? Okay, yeah, there we go. Replace pin message. Sweet. All right, beautiful. Beetlejuice. Okay, let's see. So we got Vader. We got that. Chicken Farmer says eggs versus WAT. Your name is Chicken Farmer, and you're looking at egg coin. All right. It is on TradingView, so it's on Trader Joe. This is one weird looking chart, man. Oh, this is a 4-hour. Holy shit. Yeah, this thing's really, really new, man. I don't really have much of an analysis on this one, to be fair. I do think you're maybe putting a low right here. If we go to an hour, I think we're going to have to go to an hourly. This is really fucking sloppy, man. I really shouldn't give you an opinion on this because I don't think I have a good opinion on this, man. But if you put a gun in my head, I'd say, hey, you probably have a local low right here. You got a little bit of bullish evidence. That does imply you have an invalidation below about, let's just say, just below 6 cents. Let's call it on an hourly closure. Until then, I'm probably looking for a move back up towards your 7.8 to 8 cent highs or so. Other than that, I really don't have an opinion that on a chart that is this new. If you do see a deeper correction, I'm looking somewhere down around 5 cents, and I'd feel a little more comfortable with that. But again, it's really, really new chart. Not much history here, and doesn't look like it really trades much at all, man. So I should really shoot you straight and say, hey, man, a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer, because I do not have a good idea on this, nor a valuable idea on this in this case. But I mean, you are looking at very low term time. Maybe a 15-minute is, you did ask for a 15 minutes, so maybe just go to that really quickly. Again, really hard to make much out of anything on this one. I am biased towards maybe one more try to the upside short term. Let's call it like, just above 7 cents or so, and then see if the hourly takes over from there. That's probably the best that I can do on that one. Bob Samarsdick says, appreciate you both. Hey man, appreciate you as well. SNX case fucking hard name to say, man. Okay, here we go. SNX, you are short and long term. No, daily and weekly. Got it. Yeah, time frames definitely help. Again, so this one, it would still be kind of on the weaker side, right? Just because this one is got really hit hard. But you do have a higher low, and you are very likely going to bust on through here and initiate short-term moves back up just around $7.90 to $8 or so. Does that confirm your weekly as anything relevant? You will not have bullish evidence, but I do think that you're probably going to give a try up towards, probably like mid $8, maybe at most $9.50. I think rather easily. But things don't really change around for this thing as long as you're below about 13.5 if you're looking at the macro for the weekly, which you did ask for. So yeah, it's just kind of a long way of saying short term up, long term. I'm not going to be the first person to call the weekly reversal before you even get like a higher low in this case, which you do not have right now. Where would I invalidate this one and look for moves back around your lows at $4.50 and probably new lows? That'd be below about $6 in this case. Until then, I'm looking for this one to trade a little bit short-term upside here and then come back to it after that. Aggressive Crypto says Atlas USD short and long term. Don't know what the fuck that means to you, man. Give me some damn time frames. Here we go. Again, another chart that not much history here, but I guess it's okay. We have something resembling a higher low, which is good. Where your range highs, they're right here, right around. If we could do this properly, that would be about just under 13 cents. Short term, I do think that you pop back up and test around these wick highs at about 11.5. So that would be your short term, I guess. Long term looks good above about 12.80, let's call it, with targets back up towards, upper teens, like 17 to 18 cents or so. Until then, not much history going on right here. Going off of market analysis, rather individualistic analysis, but showing a little bit of short-term promise here for at least a short-term try higher. Salim Gittisatani, you must be Italian as well. H-bar 1 and 4 hour. It's very low term time frames, but that's fine. I like the hourly myself. Hey, looks like the old LARP lines. Hey, look at those. My LARP lines were too bearish right there. Anyways, fair enough on this one. This one reapproaching sort of your reversal confirmation levels at 34.5 cents. That's good. And honestly, personally speaking, I do think that this one pushes through. We see a lot of these ones put in reversals based off of that formation. This one is a little bit on the stronger side, not like the super strong coins that we've seen, but on the stronger side, definitely. I just want to see it close above about 34.5 cents, and I'm looking for returns back up towards 39 to 40 cents or so, which would be obviously good. Short-term timeframes, 4 hour, are looking like they're going to trend right here and probably give a try today. I would only invalidate bullishness on this one below 30 cents or 31 cents actually. Until then, pretty damn good for the short term. That is, if you're on an hourly, I guess I'll just quickly address that. Hourly probably at least gives one more try towards 34.5 cents, and then rejection or no. Is it rejection or not? Matthew says Mike Hawk. Oh, clever, man. Fucking clever. Metis Daily Weekly. I recognize this name. Let's see. I think this is the one that trades versus Ethereum. It does, yeah. Daily and weekly. Nice time frame, sir. Beautiful. Again, consolidate the highs, typically a good sign. I have to be bullish on this one for like one more drive of continuation as long as you're above 5 cents or 0.05. Problem is, that's like a really aggressive consolidation. It does look good on the short-term time frame, so I guess it is relevant, but I just want to say that is rather aggressive. And if you do lose 0.051, actually more specifically said, I'll be looking towards 0.041, which is a rather big move on this thing. Until then, I'm generally looking for this one to trade sideways and up. My opinion on the weekly hasn't changed. I'm still bullish on this one, probably looking for new all-time highs, maybe this week, probably next week in this case. It's generally pretty damn good. I think that we had some targets up to like 0.089 or so, in the next like month or so. It's generally good here. It's just, do we pull back first for a higher low somewhere around the 0.04 region, or does this one just bust on through right here? I mean, it is kind of looking a little bit more likely it will try from here first, actually. So I guess I'll just leave it right there. My strong opinions are on the weekly right there, not necessarily the daily or lower time frames in this case. Keenar says Muse. Okay. Has a cool name, symbol SMUSE, USD, might not be on TradingView. Okay, here we go, versus Ethereum again. Another chart that's fucking weird looking because it trades versus Ethereum. We do have what appears to be a resolution of the accumulation range. That would be above the 0.0738 region. So that does make me look for a continuation up to 0.01, somewhere right around here or so, at minimum before the next sort of daily pullback. But ultimately, Yeah, another chart that I really don't have strong opinions on long term. I guess I'd be looking for a retest of your all-time highs if you do get back above 0.02, but pretty damn far away right now. So I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. Kirkeen says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? 1 USD on the daily. Gotcha. 1 USD. Okay, Harmony. Good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah. Retesting around your highs. This would be an example of one of the stronger ones. Just want to see that. I'd actually be looking for this one to retest all-time highs with any sort of a closure, maybe even on a 4 hour in this case. Yeah, even on a 4 hour above about 33.5 cent in this case. And I would be looking for a retest of your all-time highs in the following week or two, and very likely new all-time highs. Again, among some of the better charts that we've seen today, actually very, very strong right there. Very fucking strong. Again, that same sort of setup. You've seen this many times today. Hidden bullish evidence right here. Weekly jewel starting to lose its downside curvature, and weekly volatility also on the lows as well, respectively speaking. So you've seen this signal many times today, and the results have been, quite powerful. And that's what you've seen on a lot of the stronger ones today. So this would definitely be among those. Absolutely. Mr. D, what's up, Mr. D? Good day to you as well. Seller on a long-term time frame for Q1. All right. CELR. Okay. Plop it in over here. Come on, show it to me. There we go. And yeah, another one that looks like it's trying to put in a base at the 55 that we've seen many times as well. We do not have, or actually we will have hidden bullish evidence here when it does confirm a local low. I understand why the indicator is not confirming it as a local low right now. It's just because you need to see a closure above about 9.3 cent. Even on a daily would work in this case, I suspect. And yeah, and again, you see the higher low right here. It's right around your range highs. That's going to be just over 9 cents. Any sort of a closure above there, and I'm looking for this one to retest its December breakdown regions at 11.5 cent. Probably even works way back up towards the prior highs. So not a bad setup right there. Only really bearish below about 7 cents in this case, or just last week's wick low would be rather concerning. Until then, I look at this one as setting in a base right here, and probably does bust on through. We've seen plenty of these ones today. Ellison Gus says FTM on the 4 hour daily. Yes, we can definitely do that one. This one's always quite popular. Phantom, and here you go. Here's another of those fractal of a charts. And let me just see how many videos I have for today. Maybe I actually record one on this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's too many already. Yeah, probably too many. But a good one nonetheless. So fuck it, well, I'll just record and maybe we put up, maybe we don't. All right, here we have Phantom symbol FTM versus the dollar. And as you can see, we are breaking above our weekly range highs, of which I do have measure moves up to just shy of $4 after that in the following weeks. Lower term timeframes respectively to that on a daily did actually bust on through 2 days ago above our resolution point at 270, which is quite good, initiating that move. There's very likely going to be a stop along the way for the short-term timeframes around your prior all-time high, which is about 330 or so. So I would be looking for a bit of a short-term pullback into a higher low. After that, if we're on a 4 hour, I mean, this one's trending right now, so very likely does reach towards that target first before pulling back. But all momentum oscillators and volatility reads are suggesting continuation here. They're still rather healthy. So pullbacks very likely align with higher lows. Long term, if you do see one of those just mega macro moves, of which I think you very well might be in the midst of long term, again, assuming that you do get, or you're very likely to get that pullback somewhere just below $4 or so. Long term on a validation above that region on a daily closure, I'm looking for big moves up towards, mid sixes, probably somewhere around $7. That'd be long term, so like months down the road. What would invalidate this one as a bullish setup? Basically back below about 240 would be concerning. Until then, one of the more strong charts that we've seen today, certainly quite nice actually. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Phantom, sir. Yep. LIG says Luna USD or Sol. We already did Sol, so we'll do Luna. Luna on daily and weekly. Let's see where this one's at. Speaking of a relatively strong, still consolidated the high. I mean, man, this one's had so many chances to break down. This actually quite, it's actually really, really good signature right there. Weekly. Look, when I'm looking at the weekly, you can very easily have a test down to like $70 or $72 to $73. It wouldn't do much of anything, and it'd still be long-term bullish. The daily says to maybe not even be looking for that move right here. I'm basically still looking at $81 as a as a break point for that $70 target. Until then, I should be looking at this as a reaccumulation in a very aggressive manner. It's super fucking aggressive right there. What I feel a lot more confident with is talking about the weekly and the monthly, both of which I'm bullish on for new all-time highs, very likely this month. Maybe not necessarily this week, but targets up towards I guess 105 and then 125 is kind of what I'm looking for long term. The only way that I'd let go of those targets is not below $81, but below $70 on a daily. Until then, pullbacks are just higher lows, and generally pretty damn good. So I'd kind of leave it right there and, just let it do its thing. But yeah, really aggressive. Like the reason why I'm not being more aggressive on this one right here is just because, it could fall down to $70 and still be completely fine. That's kind of my problem with it. It's like, this is really fucking aggressive action right there. So, is it that bullish? Maybe it is. I don't fucking know. But you'll know that it's that bullish, more importantly, and not needing my stupid opinion, when you do see a closure above about 92 and a quarter on a daily. That'd be looking at, again, another retest of 105, and then very likely busts on through. You're looking probably around about $1.25 to $1.30 or so. Cool. Let's see. Holy moly, man. Okay, top to bottom. All right, we got T-Doc for Magic Turtle. Okay, symbol TD. What is this thing? This is it's a real stock. It's a real thing. Good. Let's see. Well, pretty awful chart though. Let's see. I think we don't need that no longer. Probably setting up for a bit of a bounce here. I mean, you're typically going to get a pity bounce from your prior breakout levels, which is right here. Also a prior major weekly gap as well. So, you're probably more in a bouncy area than not. Bounce targets back up towards, a $1.09, a $1.10 region within the next couple months here are probably relevant, but not a great chart long term. I think that this one's very likely to bounce here, but I'd be bearish on this one long term as long as you're below about a $1.10. All bounces are just lower highs and probably setting up for continuation lower over time for what it's worth. Not great. Let's see. Suppressive fire says AXS. Okay, so Axie Infinity. All right. AXS USD right there. All right. Okay. Let's see. Daily again, trying to put in a higher low right here. Bearish below $90. Wouldn't necessarily say bearish, but I'd be looking for deeper corrections towards about the low $70 region. Until then, I do look at this as likely trying to put in a higher low here. We've seen this many times today. Your confirmation of this one setting at a low is back above about 110. 4-hour time frame showing, you should have another drive of bullish evidence right here. It won't actually populate until you do close back above about 95. If that does happen, I'm looking for this one to test short term back up to 98 and a quarter. Again, that doesn't really do much for the daily, but one step at a time, obviously. Back above 110, things start to look pretty damn good with moves back up towards basically about your prior highs at $1.40 to $1.50 over time. Let's see. No paper. You are certainly not next, unfortunately. But we're getting close. Jesus Vargas. Yep, we got Adam, so we're good there. Vince wants to look at Rose. Oh, to XTZ. Okay, XTZ. Gotcha. XTZ USD. 4-hour daily weekly. Daily actually turning the corner right here. Again, another one that sets in a higher low, pops above its prior high. I'm looking for this one to pop back up towards $5.70 to $6. Yeah, not bad. Setting in a low right there. Not bad at all. 4 hours trending right now. Invalidation below about $4.90. Quite good, actually. Quite good. Let's see. Now it's no more paper. It says Asana stock. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's Vince. Okay, it's Vince. Rose. Okay, Rose USD. Yeah, no, we already did fucking vet. And we haven't done vet, and we haven't done Rose. So we'll do stupid ass Rose first. It's again among some of the stronger ones, but does it pull back a little bit more? Actually, your 4 hours probably setting a higher low right here. Let's see. Do you have hidden bullish evidence? You will have hidden bullish evidence, but you need to confirm a local low here. Closing back above about 42 cents would do it for me. And I'd be looking for another retest of your highs at about 45 cents. Above there, obviously, you go back into breakout mode and probably looking at moves towards 50 cents plus. Now we have Asana stock. All right, what the fuck is this thing? I feel like we've looked at this one before on Nicey. Looking at it daily and weekly. Wow, terrible stock, man. Terrible. Really not good. Probably does get a pity bounce over here. And you might even extend like a pretty major bounce. Let's see. Do we have anything that's obvious, though? Not really. Maybe a monthly. Yeah, kind of in free fall, man. I'm not going to like a stock like this, but I do think that it will bounce from here just by the nature of kind of retesting your major lows. Heavily bearish as long as you're below, obviously, 83 and a quarter. Okay, can we get rid of that right now? It's not relevant. 83, yeah, sorry, not 83 and a quarter, but 80 and a quarter. 80 and a quarter. Heavily bearish as long as you're below there. Above there, actually would look for this one to put in some big rallies back up towards $100. But until then, that's just all hopium. It's just short-term bounces. All short-term bounces are lower highs below $80, and probably setting up for a more macro move on the monthly, lower, in the next 6 months. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing down to like $45 in the next year, actually. But I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. If you're just on the daily, you're probably looking for this one to try one more bounce, at least, and come back to it after that. And hey, if you get back above about $81, let's call it, on a short, sorry, it is $82. So I was looking at a closure. I'd err on the side of caution here. I'd say $82.50. Above $82.50, I would look for this one to put in at least another rally just above $100 and then come back to it after that. But until then, just looking for short-term bounces into lower highs plus continuation over the next 6 months to a year. Let's see. Okay, we got Raja. Hey, no one's asked about AVAX. Yeah. Okay, daily, weekly. Let's check it out. Okay. Stupid ass Rose. It's not a stupid ass coin, actually. It's actually probably one of the better charts we've seen today, to be fair. Anyways, KuCoin daily, weekly. This one's kind of throwing me for a loop here. You know, we had this $100 area marked off as a basing point, kind of like a balancing point. Keeps on kind of sticking around there. I'm not gonna lie to you, like this does not look like strong price action here, but I cannot, at least based off of my own format of an analysis, get bearish on this one for like a big move actually down to at least, you know, low $90 until you actually do close below your range floats, which is about a buck 101. If you're on a lower term time frame, probably going to bounce here again, so that'd be a little bit of short term hopium. Weekly, yeah, I mean weekly, if this one does bust through $100 or so, I'm generally looking towards like low 90s, upper 80s essentially before the next sort of pity bounce. Until then, the hopium is that you're setting a higher low right now, which it actually does look good on a short-term time frame. Your confirmation of that would be with the daily back of about a buck 18. That would start to look really, really good. And you know, at that point, probably looking at 150 highs again and probably no ultimates after that, man. Oh god damn it, Sam. Sam wants to look at Hex. All right, we'll look at Hex, man. Sir, good cross. I don't know. Let's see. I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's see. Did my chart play out? Holy fuck! that one did work out pretty well. Is it a good cross? I don't see any cross that's really relevant here, to be honest with you. It's actually still in a bullish posturing for at least in the way that I look at major moving averages. But you know, this chart becomes very simple now. Yeah, we can still use that one as well. So we did get our rejection right there. Man, that was actually like pretty much to the T. Holy shit. All right, it's not supposed to be that good, just so you know. But it did work out that way. That's kind of funny. All right, so the resolution of this current range that you're in right now, which is 27 cent to the upside versus 21 cent to the downside, is very likely going to be your next major direction. Below 21 cents, this thing is going to get fucking hammered, like absolutely fucking hammered back down to mid-teens, I imagine. Above 27 cents, you're probably going to see this thing actually bust on through and retest, you know, 40 cents to 50 cents. So I actually no longer have an opinion on this chart. If I look at the weekly, I do think it's more likely to come back to the downside. Yeah, I actually do think it's a little more likely to come back to the downside here. But yeah, the range resolution makes this makes this one a lot more simple. Until then, you know, in my opinion, it's kind of gambling right here. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one, to be honest with you. As of this moment, my strong opinion was on was over here and over here for the breakout, and over here for the breakdown. I don't really have a strong opinion right now, just range resolution, so kind of simplify that one. KMK says 1 inch, please. Sure, 1 inch. No one's asked about this one for a while. It looks like it has the Broncos logo too, from when I looked at it. Don't know why I'm talking about that, but anyways, I know you didn't ask about a daily, but again, we have another one that's, you know, setting a base right here. Does look like it wants to retest around your range highs, about 280 or so. Full hour is looking like a higher low. Reversal on a 4 hour confirmed back above about 261 with targets back up short term to about 270 to 275 region. Hourly, no, you just that's about a 4 hour. Short term very likely working its way up here. And that can bleed into the daily, which will have targets a lot higher, obviously. But again, I wouldn't say it's like the strongest one here, but you know, you see most things in this market kind of doing something relatively similar. So that is a great place to leave off on this here stream. Holy shit, man. We made it all the way through. We made it all the way through, my friends. Holy fucking moly. Felt like kind of a long one, but actually not that long, in fact. So I want to say again a major thank you to all of our meta raters. Yes, our meta raters have been great. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And yeah, just wish you well on this nice Wednesday over here. It's been a bit of a boring segment in this market, but hey, man, The trade for the last month has been buy 46, sell 52. Are you going to get another iteration of that? Maybe yes. I mean, we do have many drives of bullish evidence now building off the lows, so I'm a little bit biased towards at least one more try off these lows yet again. And the next big areas to be aware of is, of course, coming off the daily momentum levels. That's going to be 46.5 for spot price action, as we identified earlier. That is kind of more, it's kind of like more of an interim hopium level, although it certainly does matter. The big ones that matter for the short term is certainly back above 48,000 on a 4-hour closure. That's where this really starts to look like a major low starting to be set in, and then above 52,000 bucks, that's your next macro low with targets back up towards your deep 50s. So with that said, I want to be wishing you well. I want to be thank you for joining in on this lovely little Wednesday morning. Elsa is not waving in the background because she hates you today. Oh, she is waving. Okay, there we go. And she already waved. And all good, man. We'll be back on tomorrow. And of course, keep an eye out for the app, which is going to be updated today. Again, allow us like at least a few hours here, maybe even up to 6 hours. And then also I'll be posting a video later on the Jewel Light, of which will be free for about a month from now. So hopefully that was helpful, and we'll be signing off now. Take care, and until next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, flip, unflip it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, leave it, check it, click it, and refresh it, find it, drop it, crack it, lose it, curse it, pay it, to it, pay it, bar it, chart it, hide it, fight it, deal it, seal it, and unlock it, back it, send it, change it, lend it, mine it, find it, how it, test it, praise it, curse it, trash it, hash it, roll it, troll it, and upgrade it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click, unflip it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, leave it, check it, click it, and refresh it, write it, code it, name it, read it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it,